Okay, so this is my episode 3 of Special Forces review. And, oh boy. Uh, this was just like high school. Anyway, so it starts off with almost immediately Jamie Lynn deciding to call it quits. And immediately my question was, okay, who's going to be the voice of the recruits, which was supposed to be number 2. Okay. So, everyone, of course, tried to, happened again. Everyone tried to convince Jamie Lynn to stay. Mel implied, I think it was Mel, somebody implied that, that they're going to, that if she leaves. Of course, the same thing happened with Nastya, I think. So, so Jamie Lynn leaves almost immediately, and then we get Remy saying, "Yeah, we kind of know when a recruit is going to leave." And so then we get, ironically, I expected the nature show voiceover to tell us who would be the new voice of the recruits. But no, we just found that out. Nobody actually told us, which, okay, I thought that's what you were there for, but all right. So, they go to the next challenge, and, wait a minute, did they do that first, or did they talk with Mel first? Oh, yes. First, Mel was hiding in the bathroom, trying to get over the fact that Jamie Lynn left. And so she eventually got called in to the staff, and they asked her what's happening, and she mentioned her 10 years of emotional abuse, and that it's been 7 years, but it's still a struggle. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm sure you've seen military shows. Probably if you're trying to get away from the trauma of being yelled at and belittled, military staff sergeants are drill sergeants are probably not the way to go. I mean, I get she wanted to prove to herself how strong and resilient she is, but maybe not the best plan. But so then we go to the next challenge, the next day, and this was finally a challenge. Well, technically, I could probably do the beating up the red man challenge, because that was mostly just taking out your anger and aggression by punching someone. Punching a punching bag made human. So he was just a human punching bag at this point. So I'm not counting that as a challenge because, except for Nastya, nobody had a problem doing that. So we get to the challenge, and Carly is the first one up. And the challenge is, and Remy decides to show off by holding his breath for 90 seconds. Because, why not? So now the way they're doing it was very controlled. They drop the pickup into the water. The water slowly rises, and so you have plenty of time to hold your breath. And then Foxy is right outside, and he gives you, he basically taps your shoulder to let you know that you're at the halfway point. Okay, you did it. Now you can unbuckle and get out of the water. So, yeah, I think I could do this challenge. I really do, because what's there to panic about? I mean, either you can hold your breath for 20 seconds or you can't. And there are people there to help you. There is a safeguard. It's not like you're completely alone. Foxy is right there. So, yeah, I don't know what the panicking was. I mean, in Carly's defense, because she was first and she failed, she didn't feel like she got a good enough breath. And so, because she was thinking about, I didn't get a good enough breath, she started to panic, which she probably, if she just held it as long as she could until she couldn't anymore, she probably would have done a lot better. Because, at least from my point of view, she looked like she got a good deep breath. So, her, okay, she panicked because she didn't think she got a good enough breath. However, again, there are safeties involved in this. No panicking is necessary. And so we go through a montage of a bunch of people failing and passing. And of course, Mooch failed because he's an idiot. He's like, I thought he patted me and they said no. Really? What did you, I just don't know how you could have thought that. I mean, you can literally look to your side and see whether he touches you. It's not like you have to look straight ahead. I don't think they're going to, I don't think that was a rule, that was a rule you had to look straight ahead. Just keep your hands on the wheel, but you can turn. So, so everybody went through it, either pass or fail. And there were a few fails. And, then it came up to Nastya, and Nastya's already freaking out about, I cannot hold my breath for 20 seconds. I can only do it for about 10 seconds. So she's freaking out. And Gus is, everybody's trying to tell her, that it's going to be okay. And Gus even said, look, just don't panic when the water gets to here and you're fine. But then she talks about being claustrophobic. Okay, first off, I assume you've ridden in cars before, and unlike this vehicle, the car windows were probably closed. So if that doesn't make you panic, this shouldn't. Secondly, you're in a body of water. It's not a closed system. And there is someone right outside the window. So I'm not sure where, and her excuse for why she's claustrophobic was like, I didn't follow that one bit. I'm like, wait, you fell and hit your head when you fell off the uneven bars and now you're claustrophobic? Wait, this makes no sense. Being afraid of heights after doing that I can understand. But I don't understand the claustrophobia. But whatever. So she's telling everybody, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. She's telling that to staff. And so Remy makes the executive decision. I don't know if it was just Remy or all three of the staff who made the executive decision to that Remy would go in the car with her. So, this is where things went seriously downhill. So, because Remy decided to change the rules for Nastya, which, whether it benefited her or not, the fact remains he changed the rules for her, which is showing preferential treatment, even if in the grand scheme of things it didn't actually benefit her. But somehow him being in the car with her did calm her down enough to go through with the exercise. So, like I said, and she knew it right away. I mean, people are trying to make, the show is trying to make Gus out to be, well, he was a bit of a jerk, but they're trying to make him out to be a bad guy. Nastya did an interview saying that the reason she decided to quit was because of what Gus said. Well, technically she didn't say it was Gus, but... And I'm just like, no, I understand Gus's frustrations. Now, first off, she knew right away that she was given preferential treatment. Nobody had to tell her that. That, you know, she was given preferential treatment. She saw that. Even though the staff were like, no, you did it yourself. The fact that Remy was in the car with her, it just changed the rules enough that it just looked bad because, you know, why didn't you do that for any of the others who were panicking about doing this course? Okay. So, yeah, I get why it was done because they even mentioned later that they really liked Nastya. But at the same time, well, you're not technically not supposed to be playing favorites either. So, because in theory, recruitment should be the best people, not because you happen to like someone over another person. So, Gus made some choice words, and like I said, I'm not excusing the fact that Gus acted like a jerk, because he did act like a jerk. But he was frustrated because, you know, it's like one rule for thee, but not for me. It it so I totally get why he would be frustrated. So he said some things to Nastya which, you know, she didn't particularly care for, but I think it was already that she realized that, you know, what this looked like. That even though she held her breath for 20 seconds, she looked like she had a crutch. A crutch nobody else was allowed. So she already knew that that was a script, whether she asked for them to do this or not. That's what it looks like. So she understood that. I actually like this Nastya's explanation a little better than the interview with Nastya, who she's like, oh yeah, it was the mean things people were saying about me, and that, well, not that it was the mean things, but that she reacted to it. And it's like, no, I think you just wanted an excuse to leave, and Gus just gave it to you because of him being a jerk. So, she first, before they go back, the staff decides to find out who packed their bags correctly. Now, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it seemed like none of them did. It seemed like most, if not all, were standing in the line of people of who didn't pack their bags correctly. I didn't count. It just seemed that way. because we're dropping like flies at this point. So, and this is where Gus got yelled at again. First, he got yelled at for asking a stupid question, which, yeah, actually, Gus is towards the end, to the bitter end, Gus was defending that stupid question, but it's a dumb question. I mean, if they said these are the people who failed, then the rest pass. I get he wanted them to say that Nastia failed because she needed, you know, training wheels. She needed handlebars with her to complete the task. So I get what he was trying to get them to admit that. But at the same time, dude, oh. So they made him do 20 push-ups. And I felt so bad for Gus because he did like 30 push-ups that day. So first he was forced to do push-ups. Then they were throwing the bags in the water and go after your bag. And Gus did a somersault into the water, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's his personality. He's a daredevil. Okay, I mean, you don't do something called big air for like half your life and not be a daredevil. Of course he's a daredevil. Of course the staff didn't appreciate it, but um so so when they get to the other side and they're going through the packs and finding out that they're none of them were packed correctly, um they made Gus do 10 more push-ups with the pack on his back. I felt so sorry for this kid, but luckily it was someone who actually could accomplish that. I would have loved to have seen Mooch have to do that. He wouldn't have been able to do 20 the first time. I doubt he would be able to do the 10 with the pack on his back. But so he was obviously put on their shit list. So they get back to camp, and Gus gets called in. Well, first Nastia decides. First, Gus goes into the bathroom with Nastia. Goes They're on either ends of the toilet, and he's trying to apologize. Well, she's just trying to pee. So that was just. I mean, I get he wanted to apologize, but you guys live in the same tent. You didn't have to chase after her into the bathroom. So, but at least he tried to apologize. And he tried to explain, kind of ended up digging himself a little deeper by saying she's a boy who cried wolf because she's constantly saying, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And oh, there she goes and does it. So I get that Gus would be frustrated with that you keep telling everyone, I can't do it, because it does appear like you're just saying that. So I do get that. But Nastia then decides that because her teammates see her as having been helped, which it was just Gus, but anyway, she decided that she wanted to leave. So the staff is upset about this. And then we find out who the new person who's speaking for the recruits is. It's Mike Piazza. Mike tries to convince Nastia to stay. He's like, I'm not going to try to make you stay, but I wish you would. And Nastia is just like, I have to go. I'm like, oh my God. she's just I honestly think this was just an excuse that she wanted to leave and that, you know, or she was just trying to convince herself or something. It was just ugh. So she says she wants to go. And I think part of the reason they wanted to talk to Gus was not just because of his insubordination, which is he doing the somersault into the water when they told him to get in. I think they were kind of pissed off that Nastya left, and they see that Gus being the reason. But again, yes, he was a jerk to Nastya, but all of this could have been prevented if you just let Nastya go in there by herself, because Foxy was literally on the other side of the door. And like I said, Nastya knew it from the very beginning that they did something for her that they didn't do for anybody else. So she saw it as well, even though obviously that's not going to expand your lung capacity to have someone sitting there with you. But it's perceived that way. So, and she knew it from the very beginning. So why is Gus being blamed for this? The only thing he did wrong is be a jerk, which he was. He was totally being a jerk. But at least he apologized for it. So, and he didn't want Nastya to go. He didn't want Nastya to quit. I'm sure part of him was like, okay, fine, she finally quit when she said she was going to, but still, he didn't actually want her to quit. He just wanted her to stop talking about how she can't do stuff and then do it. So the staff are obviously pissed off with him. So they call him in for questioning. And they ask about him doing the somersault. And so he starts talking about from the beginning, and they're like, no, why did you do this? And it's like, yeah, I'm getting to that. Yeah, I'm explaining why I did that. And I don't know, I think he would have been better off to just say, I'm a goofball and, I've done big air all my life and this is my personality, so yeah, I think he would have been better off leading with that with rather than I was frustrated because I'm used to rules and to see you, breaking the rules. And granted, the staff is correct that they make the rules, but when you only bend the rules for one person, yeah, I can see why. Like if Remy was there for each and every recruit, of course nobody would say anything because nobody would be getting preferential treatment. So Gus tells everyone, and by this point we found out that Mel smuggled in cigarettes. So, oh Lord. And I was wondering when I heard that Mel was smoking, because yes, I'm perfectly fine with spoilers. I was like, wait, how did she get cigarettes? I doubt that they're allowed them. And lo and behold, they weren't. She just smuggled them in. So Gus was explaining what had happened and how Foxy was so mad. I think it was Foxy. Maybe it was Billy. That they were so mad that, he felt their spit. And that obviously had an effect on Mel. Which she's finally realizing that, oh, maybe dealing with drill sergeants when I've had a traumatic experience with being yelled at and emotionally abused, maybe wasn't the best plan. So then she goes outside and has another cigarette. Kenya tries to talk to her, and Mel just loses her shit. Hannah tries to say something. I didn't even catch what she said, and Mel's like, "Nah, it's okay. I'm leaving." Oh yeah, that she was smoking too close to the tent, but she has had it at this point, so she wants to leave. Kenya's afraid. Kenya's like, "Wait, was it something I said?" And Gus is like, "You know, you did say something, but she was already wound up, and so what you said was just that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't technically what you said, but she was already ready to leave." So she tells them that, she's done what you set out to do, and so she wants to leave. No mention of why she was upset. And of course, no mention of the fact that she smuggled in cigarettes. So I'm sure that when the staff is watching this back, they're going to be thrilled to find out that Mel somehow managed to smuggle in cigarettes. But, so then she ends up leaving. And, so now we're down to 9. Kenya thought 8. So, I mean, that's easy to lose track. I mean, it's just one extra person, but it's kind of funny to think that she can't do basic math, but nah. From what I read from what Hannah said about the living conditions, I'm gonna let it slide. Because living conditions are not that great. And that's why I honestly think that deep down, Nastya just wanted an excuse to leave. I mean, she already didn't want to punch anyone, which was a challenge. And yet she was the staff's golden girl, according to what they told Gus. Or at least that's what he told everyone else. She didn't want to hit, which was a challenge. She was freaking out during the water submersion challenge. Uh, yeah, I think they were just taken in by this America's Sweetheart, which is what every all around female gymnast is given the title of, America's Sweetheart. So I think they were taken in by the fact that she's an all around gymnast, an all around gold medalist. Um, but as an aside, Danny was asking about Gus's medals. He's like, "Yeah, I have a gold medal and silver medal. Dwight has a gold medal." And he goes, "I think Nastya has a gold medal." Nobody mentioned Carly. It's like, no, you're not surrounded by 3 gold medalists. 4. Carly has a gold medal too. So it's disconcerting that Carly is summarily being ignored. So, yeah, I mean they showed her failing this underwater challenge, but otherwise they don't mention her, which I guess is good because that means she probably lasted longer, that the people who are in the drama and are being talked about are the ones who are going to not last as long. But Kenya made the same observation that I was thinking. It's only day 3 and almost half the recruits are gone. So this doesn't bode well for them. It's like, are they even gonna make it 10 days? Because, and next week it looks like they're going into combat. So yeah, that'll be fun, and we'll finally get the answer to whether someone put the brakes on Mooch. So he didn't end up falling to his death. So, because as much as I really, really don't like him, I don't want him to go splat in the Jordanian desert either. I mean, you'd have to be pretty bad for me to wish death upon you, and Mooch is not to that level. So, let's see if I'm missing anything else from this episode. Um, oh yes, about Jamie Lynn, because this happened like almost immediately. Um, I'm kind of sad that she left because she felt like, she was being a bad mom for leaving for doing something for herself and leaving her kids. Now, I realize she has a 4-year-old at home, but the 4-year-old, it's 10 days. It's not like you're spending months away. And I'm sure the staff are like, because they were all are all former military and elite, and I know that Foxy actually fought in, I think it was Afghanistan. He probably wasn't gone for just 10 days. So I don't know what his family situation is like, but yeah. So I'm just like, I mean, it's great that you came to the realization that your identity is mom, but it makes me worried about when her older child, the one that she had at 16, what happens when she leaves the house, whether it be to go to college or because she's starting life on her own or whatever. How is she going to handle that if right now she's like freaking out because she's a couple of days away from, she's left her kids for a couple of days. So, yeah, I don't consider that a healthy mindset. You should be able to do things for yourself, but at the same time, okay, that's her. That's how she identifies herself as a mom. That is definitely getting her out of her sister's shadow because she doesn't want to deal with fame. Okay, fine. Let's see if I'm missing anything else. Um, I think I covered everything I wanted to this episode. So I will see you guys next time.